first have one of the poems to recite it in its original language, which is English, and then I will recite the translation, and then we'll have some discussion on that particular poem, and then we go on to the next one. So, Gautam, the first poem I think that we can look at is Teachers. Shall we do that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, please go ahead and read your poem. Yeah.
Thank you. Teachers, what did I aspire to learn? What was I compelled to learn? Teachers are everywhere, wanting to teach us a lesson. I desired to study black holes. I was offered a manhole instead. I desired to study anatomy. I was offered dead cattle to skin and eviscerate instead. I desired to study sociology. I was ostracized for centuries instead. I desired to study geography. I was deprived of an inch of land instead, even my grave. I desired to study hydroscience. My mother was offered urine to drink in front of my eyes instead. I desired to study microbiology. I was offered excreta and decomposed carcasses instead. I desired to study language. I was offered cinders instead. Now I desire to write and write, but pages are so brittle to bear the weight of history. The ink has been frozen too. I am taught so much, but I don't want to be a teacher.
Yeah, a very powerful poem, I must say, and the title of the poem is very much the profession that I'm into for many years, a profession that I am passionate about, majorly because of the subject that I teach, um, and then to come to see this kind of an experience of such a profession is something that can really jolt you, especially if you are not from a particular community or a caste. So I think when I translated during the experience of just reading the poem itself, it was something that made me think about certain privileges that I have from coming from a community that I come from, and also reflect on living in 21st century India. Still, there is a huge and long way to go for these gaps to be bridged. And yeah, so I'll read out the translation, Gautam, now. Yeah, maestros, ¿qué aspiraba a aprender? ¿Qué se me obligó a aprender? Maestros están por todas partes, queriendo a enseñaros una lección. Deseaba estudiar el agujero negro. En su lugar me ofrecieron un pozo. Deseaba estudiar anatomía. En su lugar me ofrecieron reses muertos para despellejar y eviscerar. Deseaba estudiar sociología, pero en su lugar me relegaron. Deseaba estudiar geografía. Me privaron de una pulgada de tierra en su lugar, incluso mi tumba. Deseaba estudiar ciencias hidrológicas. En su lugar, a mi madre le ofrecieron orina para beber delante de mis ojos. Deseaba estudiar microbiología. En su lugar, me ofrecieron excrementos y cadáveres descompuestos. Deseaba estudiar lengua. En su lugar, me ofrecieron cenizas. Ahora deseo escribir y escribir, pero las páginas son tan frágiles para soportar el peso de la historia. La tinta se ha congelado también. Me han enseñado tanto, pero no quiero ser maestro. So this was the translation of the poem in Spanish, and the very last line of this poem, which says that, "But now I don't want to be a teacher," is something that is very conflicting within me, because, as I said, that I love this profession, and there's nothing more satisfying, than seeing the happiness in a student when he or she is learning, the language that I teach. So yeah, a lot of conflicting you know things are there within me running as I read the translation. But I would like to ask you, Gautam, related to this this particular poem, is that firstly, um, the powerful imagery, the choice of words that you use in this poem. um, how much of that is something that you want to, when you say that you use English as a tool of as a political weapon, so how much of the choice of words um, plays a role in this poem, as well as in your poetry in general, to convey the message to the reader.
So I think you must have noticed this word like black hole and manhole, right? So I think these are the words of the English vocabulary. We
Mm-hmm.
don't use it in maybe Gujarati or in some other vernacular language.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these two words were only used in this only in like it was possible to use only in English only. And when we say black hole again, I am bringing this aspiration, this dream, this desire to not just learn English, but to learn science, to long for those scientific instruments, right? So I actually wanted to study black hole. I actually wanted to have my own telescope. So there is also a poem on a telescope, uh, on the real life experience of me, right? So again, and these are the experiences, and these are the things that I have witnessed in my life, as well as uh, around around the around the village I live in, or around the city I live in, right? In the news and all, but most of the experiences are my own experiences. I have seen my family members dragging dead cattle. I've seen them eating them raw. I have seen them working unpaid. I have seen asking them for food, free food or something like that, and not money. So all those experiences are lived experiences, and English language would bring would allow me to bring a lot of concepts in, especially that of science. And that's why I'm introducing a lot of subjects which are only taught in English. For example, microbiology, for example, black holes, or maybe aeronautical science, or whatever, uh, astronomy. I talk about geography, I talk of sociology, I talk of anatomy, for example. These are the courses are, for example, anatomy, microbiology, hydroscience, uh, whatever, this nanoscience. All those subjects are only taught in English. There is no Gujarati translation. There is no Hindi Marathi translation. For example, if you do MBBS or MD or something, so it is not in local language. It's always in English. So when I wanted to study all these things, something else was thrown in front of me instead. They asked me to skin. They asked me to clean. They asked me to do something else. They asked me to drink urine. So I think that's why English was important to, you know, bring those hidden politics, this systematic politics to keep knowledge away from us, to keep access to technology away from us, to keep modernity away from us.
Right. And
Yes.
the very last line, which basically talks about you rejecting to become a teacher. So
Teacher.
does this reflect in some way a disillusionment, or is it a resistance, or a redefinition of what a teacher should be, according to you?
Yes. So here there is a different context actually. So there is always somebody who is telling you that I'll teach you a lesson.
Mm,
If you will not do this, I'll teach you a lesson.
mm,
So again, so there are teachers are everywhere.
mm,
What teachers? Not a teachers as a profession, but here teachers are like everybody who is wanting to teach you a lesson
mm,
through violence. Right. So here I'll say that for centuries, what actually I wanted to do, what you offered is no, is cruel. It's pathetic, and it is full of violence. But still, you did all these things to me for centuries. But still, you see, you taught me so much. But I don't want to be a teacher. I will not do this to you. I have this quality of compassion that I have that again the Buddhist discourse comes here again, the Navayana, the Ambedkar discourse, where where I will say that okay, so we have this idea of compassion, this idea of Maitreyi. So we don't want to be a teacher. You did a lot of horrible things to us. Okay, you did it. You did all these things that I have already made you count. But okay, I'm taught so much, but I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be an oppressor because there is always, the masters and slave. But when slaves gets an opportunity, becomes
mm,
master.
mm.
So I don't want to be a master. So it was in that context.
Interesting.